Now, here I am thinking that the Latino MAGA meme was hilarious. And really, that's just historical information to them. Like, that's just, they could put that in a book. They could put that in one of the history books. Wow. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm trouble. Now, this all started in the aftermath of the Texas primary.
I will vote for Donald Trump, even though he keep deporting y'all. I will vote for Donald Trump. He been snatching all y'all kids from y'all. I will vote for Donald Trump. He got white people kidnapping y'all. Ay, 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 por Dios. Ay, por Dios. Yo voy a votar por quién? Por Donald Trump.
Okay, it started way before that. Yeah, it started way before the Texas primary, but it accelerated coming out of the Texas primary. And I said on that very night, I would wait to reserve judgment based on how people vote. I wanted to get the evidence before I got all gassed up and gave a response about this conversation between the state of the Black and Brown coalition. Well, that was before I saw this.
Oh no. What do you mean? Jasmine not going to Congress for Texas? Oh, Crockett. A girl can only dream. Listen, Jasmine, what was that one quote that you said? Let me think. Oh yeah, we done picking cotton. You can't pay us enough to go find a plantation. Yeah, you remember that? I remember that. How could I forget? See, 6.5 million Hispanic voters in Texas, which is like the majority of the electoral vote here in the state. And you mean to tell me that you think that we're still picking cotton? Hell no, girl. Hell no. That's why you lost. Because you're racist. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. If you would have pitched that in 2002, 2001, you probably could have gotten like a good drift. However, that was people in the past. Those kids that I grew up with that were chasing a field every summer, every spring with their parents, moving school to school because they had to go pick fruit with their parents, are now grown up. And guess what? Do you think that they're gonna go back to picking fields when they have a citizenship? No. As a matter of fact, they're not even looking to vote for blue people with blue policies that put their parents in fields. No. Some of them are real estate investors, business owners. They're passing down generational wealth. And you think that they're picking cotton. You out of your goddamn mind. I'm going to remind you real quick. The majority of the Latino voters for Trump here in Texas live in the southern border. You know what happened in the southern border? No. Why? Because neither you nor Kamala have the balls to go down there. I'm going to tell you what happened. Along the Texas border, poverty levels are sky high as it is. When you import a bunch of riffraff from third world countries and they end up in those southern border towns, they strain the resources for those people. Those people can't even survive. And then you're bringing in all this riffraff with a CBP1 app Ticketmaster to the United States and you leave them there. That's why our governor had to ship all those people out. And then y'all complain, oh, you were shipping on. Yeah, because you guys brought them here. You blue people brought them here to Texas, and the southern towns were suffering. Not only that, but there was violence across the border in Tamaulipas, in Reynosa, all those cartels fighting to bring all those people over here. Why? Because they were profiting billions of dollars. And your ass still thinks that we're picking cotton? Take that. No Congress for Jasmine. As a matter of fact, why don't you go run for Missouri? What did you do in Missouri that they don't want you to run for them? Oh, I know. Exactly. Because people in Missouri see right through your bullshit, and so do we in Texas. Keeping Texas red.
The idea of her not going to Congress when she is a whole congresswoman.
This doesn't make a lick of sense.
Number two, I don't know if she was aware of how a primary works, but she didn't lose to Republicans. I don't know if she's aware of how a primary works, but that's a little bit weird. That's real weird energy. That's real weird energy for a whole primary. And you 1,000% outed yourself by virtue of mentioning Kamala Harris, because I clocked the fact that you mentioned Kamala Harris. I'm like, why would you be mentioning Kamala Harris if you have a specific issue with Jasmine Crockett? Unless this is just a whole anti-Black catch-all. But you did mention keeping Texas red. So you are coming from a place as a Republican, a Latino for MAGA, who clearly has not seen enough yet, and characterize her own people coming in as riffraff. So I would have to ask about the level of discernment that this administration has had when it comes to riffraff and people just going about their regular business who get swept up. And we've seen what happens when they feel like they don't want to admit wrong or defeat, as it feels to this administration, when you have a U.S. citizen, a non-criminal, somebody who's here legally, as we've seen time after time after time after time. But of course, since it hasn't happened to you yet, you feel perfectly comfortable sitting in front of a camera and railing against those that have been sitting in Congress. Because I remember you did your little pretend cry thing about her not being in Congress, which apparently you don't pay attention to politics at all. The woman who sat in Congress and advocated for better treatment for your people. See, I haven't made this specific point yet, but I would like to do it now. On an interpersonal level, if you have somebody in your friend group, at your job, in your church, whatever the case may be, that will openly sell everybody else out for their own gain and benefit, you would have a problem with it. Not only that, we characterize the kinds of people who do that as the worst among us on an interpersonal level.
He's right, you know.
Right? On an interpersonal level. Like if you had a group of four guys or a group of four women, and you found out that there was a guy or a girl that was in that group that was just telling everything that was being said in the group chat, whenever y'all met after work for happy hour, she was telling it all to your significant others so that she could slide, or so he could slide on the low and get it in, right? The kind of person that would do something like that, right? The kind of person who will go to, let's say, like a union meeting or just like a happy hour and then tell the bosses everything so they can get a couple extra dollars on their check. Like, we would characterize the kind of people who do things like that as literally the worst among us. However, that's when it happens on an interpersonal level. When you extrapolate it out beyond an interpersonal level and it happens on a national level, when we're talking about whole groups of people, magically, it's not as bad.
It's okay.
We live in a world where when you move that way with respect to literally millions of people, it's accepted. We'll give you a whole platform. And we'll amplify it. Won't we, Black MAGA? Oh, we most certainly will. We most certainly will. So you came and sat in front of your camera to rail against the woman who sat up in Congress and advocated for your people who you characterize as riffraff. Now, here's the other thing, because it seemingly really triggered her about the statement that Jasmine Crockett made about cotton, right? The statement that she made about picking cotton really triggered her. Now, I've used that statement previously. I believe I knew what she was talking about, but that didn't have anything to do with her. So I'm like, it can't be it can't be the statement that I'm thinking of, because that didn't have nothing to do with you at all. Like, that can't be. She must have said something else about cotton, right? She must have said something else, or she talking about a different Crockett.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now.
Her initial foray, right? The setup to this comment is, I have to go out and educate people what immigrants do for this country. That was the setup to anti-Latino Jasmine Crockett's comment about cotton. And even though I know there are so many among us who would not characterize themselves as immigrants, or who they think the general public wouldn't regard as immigrants, you have to ask yourself, what does mainstream MAGA think? How do they characterize you? Do they delineate?
I don't think so.
That's a conversation that needs to be had. We need to stop asking people how they characterize themselves, because we recognize that mirror be lying to a whole lot of people.
Damn.
That mirror be lying to a whole lot of people. So the conversation is not what you see and how you think about you. How did they think about you?
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I'm not going to argue with you. You can be right wing. That's fine. That's fine. How do they characterize? Let's be honest about that. Can we be honest about that? Can we be honest about that? Because if we can be honest about that, then we could do some stuff. We could do some stuff if we can be honest about that.
Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
I know that's right.
That was weird. I missed. That's interesting. That's interesting. So she had a whole quote about Black people in their time in this country, and the Latina woman made it about her. Had whole energy towards it. And that's not the first time. That's not the first time that I've heard. It's not like she's the only person that I've heard characterize that statement as being racist and anti-Latino. And it's fascinating because is the whitewashing of history just so deep and thorough that the Black experience has been eradicated completely? Apparently it has. Apparently it has. Of course, not when it comes to the negative stereotypes, not when it comes to the worst of American history that we can pull and thrust towards Black people. That survived.
No, you know I ain't lying.
But not the toil of our people in the fields picking cotton that she was referring to. That you get to grasp up and make about you. I can't imagine what that's like, dealing with somebody who makes everything about themselves. That's wild. That's wild. I'm surprised she even had time to make a video, because she just walking the streets thinking everybody's talking about her. That's got to be a crazy experience. That's got to be a crazy experience. Just everybody everywhere talking about you at all times. Wow. I wonder, do they have a name for that level of delusion yet?
Stop it. Get some help.
And you know what? There was actually more where that came from. Where they really messed up at is they went at Jemele Hill. Ask Megyn Kelly how that goes. Ask Megyn Kelly ain't been the same since. I noticed she putting on a whole new coat. Apparently, I pissed off some Latinos and Hispanics because I said too many of them value proximity to whiteness over solidarity with people, Black folks, in which they share similar experiences.
I'm going to put my life together to make a formal response video to this, but I am so tired of this. I'm so goddamn tired of this. That identity politics is only casted to minorities. White people can go around this country and vote for whoever the that they want, and nobody attacks them for being white and voting Democrat or being white and voting Republican. No one tells them, hey, if you don't vote Republican, you ain't white.
Minorities are the only people who get cast with identity politics when it comes to voting?
Huh?
Excuse me? Excuse me? Heritage America much? Heritage America much? Did you see how they were pressing Vivek Ramaswamy at Turning Point USA for not being a Christian? Wonder what that's about. Wonder what that's about. All the sand demons that be in Cash Patel's mentions, and those come from the right. Excuse me? Let me ask you, what percentage of open white supremacists and hate groups did Trump pull? What was the vote breakdown? How did that break down with the supremacist groups? What was the split? Huh? Was it above or below the general population? I'm curious. Was it above or below, like the racist hate group? Who they advocate for?
What?
We had this administration walk in the door on anti-DEI and mass deportation. Excuse me? The right-wing media can't get enough. The only reason why they not out here talking about their disdain towards educated white women is because of the gas prices. The gas they couldn't fill up in order to get to the studio, or they would be out here railing against educated white women right now. And they only doing that because they saw how the deportation went, and they only doing that because they done already ran out of gas on the anti-DEI. I gotta hear talking about only minorities get hit with the identity politics. I'll tell you this. She gonna hate Fox News. She gonna hate Fox News.
Learn today. You gonna learn today.
But ran all the way to the internet to make a video. Ran all the way to the internet to make a video about how apparently only minorities are getting hit with the identity politics when it comes to voting.
No, we get casted the stereotype. We get casted that if we vote anything differently than what the stereotype they think of us, then we must be too fucking stupid. And that's coming from somebody, me. I don't identify as a conservative. I don't like Donald Trump, and many, many different things I don't like about Donald Trump. And I find it actually kind of funny that she thinks she's high IQ and reduces the reason why Democrats don't win because people are too stupid. No, it could be possibly anything else. Come pinga.
I don't think it would be wise to use the talking point for somebody who's critical of Trump voters of their IQ. Because we heard him speak.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated.
We heard him speak. And we also know that that is a talking point that he uses often about other people's IQ. Apparently, he's very self-conscious. Apparently, he's been told about himself quite a bit that is always front of mind. So I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go there with it. But to your point about how people are characterized who voted for Trump, that it couldn't possibly be anything else. Well, we've explored the studio space when it comes to what those reasons could have potentially been. I've made the point before that if at any point there was something that was disqualifying in a candidate, at any point, he had it. You know, stuff that you never even thought was possible that would have disqualified something in a fantasy election. Like we needed to go call the authorities to evict him last time. Stuff we didn't even know was possible he had on his jacket.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Cases that were being made that made no sense in the before times, like the economy and how that has bared itself out. Or like we need a strong man to stand up to world leaders and how that has bared itself out. Stuff that didn't make sense in the before times. You give me the case. You want to talk about high IQ and low IQ, you know? I have stated this so many times. I didn't sit here since November 2024 and wait a year and some change to see the state of America and say, I told you so. I've been here every day.
I'm here all day. I'm here all day.
I've been here every day. This didn't make sense in the before times. But you want to talk about high and low IQ? What was the reason? Did we talk about low and high IQ? Y'all own gas stations? Oh, well, that could have been it. Maybe you went short. That's good. I don't know. The timing of you going to make an argument about it couldn't have been any other reasons for Trump right now is wild. It's wild.
This is egregious work. This is nasty, egregious work.
And I don't even want to hear, I was running based on the campaign promises, at the time, it made sense at the time because, of what he had promised with regards to, Epstein files, things like that. It made sense at the time, but then he didn't do what he had promised he was going to do. So it looks bad now, but it made sense at the time. Well, I mean, considering that nobody knew who Trump was and he just appeared out of nowhere on the public scene in 2024, I could understand that you don't have damn near 80 years of precedent.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Now, what we needed at a time like this was a man of character and wisdom to come try and get some truthful answers about the state of the coalition. We need Plies. We need Plies at a time like this.
Hey, just real quick. But this to my Latino brothers and sisters that follow me on here. I'm trying to get y'all to educate me on something. I'm being dead ass serious. I ain't even being funny. I'm trying to see kind of what y'all feel. I'm trying to let y'all educate me on it because I don't want to be viewing y'all the wrong way. So I'm trying to figure out, do y'all feel like y'all align more with black folk, or do y'all feel like y'all align more with Caucasian? And the reason I say that is because when I used to hear black and brown people, and I always thought we was like jointed to the hip. Like I always thought we was the black folk, Latino, brown, So I always thought we kind of shared some of the same struggles, same hardships, same, just, we were similar. I remember growing up, all my Latino buddies, they was on what I was on. But now that I look at it, it ain't as clear to me no more. And I'm trying to ask y'all, do y'all feel, Latino brothers and sisters, do y'all feel y'all are more in line with black folk? Or do y'all feel like y'all are now more aligned with Caucasians? You know, and I don't know if y'all feel like y'all more aligned with Caucasians or if y'all inspired to be more like them than y'all do black folk. I don't know. I'm fine with it either way. I'm just trying to get clarity on it because it's not as clear to me now than it used to be. Like, I used to think we was in the same fight. But now when I see things, you know, I remember the last election talking to Latino folk, and they, oh, no, he gonna give us money, he gonna, you know. And I used to be like, God, like, that's the motherfucker I want to get y'all out of here. And the only reason I'm asking, because I need to know who I'm defending. Like, I don't want to be defending no motherfucker who don't even with me, for real. So I'm asking so I know who I should and shouldn't be defending. So if y'all can just help me understand y'all thought process and who y'all feel y'all align more with, because I've seen, you know, political candidates, you know, black person, white person, and y'all motherfuckers, y'all be over there. So I'm just trying to get clarity on that. If y'all can help educate me on this, I surely appreciate it. And it's love either way.
I do want to make one distinction, because he talked about hearing people saying he's going to give us money and things like that. I did bring that up at some point, a few times during my discussions about Latinos for Trump, is we know how much they love to weaponize misinformation. We know how much they love to weaponize misinformation. We've seen it, you know, as the wheels fall off in 2026, and we get situations like the Nicki Minaj bot report and the leak report from DHS about Nome paying influencers to push ICE, and the Johnny MAGA account exposed, which will be a video. We get things like the TPUSA halftime report, bots not commenting. Like, we know how much they love to push misinformation, right? So I do want to make a distinction between those that fell victim to misinformation and those that are willfully pick-meing to advocate for the same people that slur them. The people that were holding up the mass deportation signs who did not care about your qualifications to be here. Like, I want to delineate between those two groups. Now, I found the comments to be wild.
I say, hold up, wait a minute.
Plies is never doing anything but showing off his manicure and new teeth. Don't take him seriously. No, I mean the rest of the go underneath that. Majority of Latinos say their race is white in two-question race and ethnicity format. Let me look at this. Percentage of Latino adults, all Hispanics. 58% say white? 58% say white? And you know what? There isn't even a big differentiation between U.S. born and foreign born. This really blew my mind. Hold on, let me see if I can verify. This is from the 2020 Census and also the Pew Research Center. The Pew Research Center has a write-up all about it from 2021. That would explain a whole lot. While I'm sitting here trying to make sense of just the scraping of the bottom of the barrel of justifications to attack Black people, that would make a whole lot of sense. But here's the thing, I use it. I'm going to try and be in this place more often, right? That's only relevant if it jibes with public sentiment. That's only relevant if it's consistent across all strata. I mean, if I identify as a peanut, but nobody else does, what's the relevance of that? I don't know what the percentage of Black people that would characterize Latinos as white. I don't know if it would be absolutely zero, but it would be approaching zero. It'd be approaching zero. It'd be approaching zero. But we're only, 12% of the population. You ask them. You ask them. That's what you need to do. Because what I would also say is, do you want to identify with a group that won't identify with you? Is that a place you want to be in? Is that really a place that you want to be in? Just my basic level of pride. If you don't want me on the team, I got better things to do with my time. And I'm probably trash if it actually is a sports team, right? You don't want me in the club, you gonna throw slurs and whatnot? You know what I mean? I'll go find another, I'll go find like a bike rally or something I could do. That's the relevant information. That is the relevant information. What is the percentage of what is the percentage of white Americans who would characterize Latino Americans as white? And no, y'all don't get the vote. I know I identify, I get the vote. No, y'all don't get we trying to, this is for cross-referencing purposes. It's for cross-referencing purposes. If they agree, then next time you get the vote. Then next time you get to vote with the white Americans, if they agree. Ask them. Ask who was holding up the mass deportation signs. Go to RNC, where they got the mass deportation signs, and ask them how many of them would characterize Latinos as white. You need to go the next time Erica Kirk does a TPUSA event, stand in the lobby in the event, because I seen the lobbies. I remember when was it Fresh or Fit got kicked out? He was standing in the lobby on the phone. They have a large lobby. Go to the lobby, stand in the lobby, just do a little questionnaire, and just ask them on the way out. That's what's needed. That's what's needed. And if that's not a process that you are willing to go through, well, then we have our answer about the seriousness of your claims. Now, here I am thinking that the Latino MAGA meme was hilarious, and really that's just historical information to them. Like, they could put that in a book. They could put that in one of the history books. Wow. Megyn Kelly. Yeah, you remember how you said it was no white people in the Bad Bunny? Remember how you said it was no white people? They said it was all white people. So, y'all got to work that out.
This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos.
Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Y'all hear that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's the unraveling of the MAGA coalition. And this month, we letting them fight. So look out for all of that merch hitting thepeoplesgetup.com. Now, this time around, I come to you in the spirit of Unsung. Y'all remember that show on TV One about all the groups that didn't get their just desserts? They were really scraping the barrel by the end of that show. I think they made one on me. My work in the shower. I be singing in the shower. I go by ReeseWatersTips. And I got ReeseWatersTips. Look out for ReeseWatersTips. I think it's season 24. I'm on there.
La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum. La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum.
Now, last time I sat here, I gave a shout out to all the people whose hard work makes this channel go. But I also want to give a shout out to the research squad. Did you know we have a research squad? Shout out to all of you guys. And if you would like to be a part of it, hit me up at admin@ReeseWaters.com. But I also want to shout out you, all the people whose actions help propel this channel onto the screens and into the laps of so many people all across America. The people that watch the video all the way to the end, the people that hit the like button, the ones that hit the side of the screen during the premiere, the people that share the videos, all the subscribers, all the members, the people who write comments, and the people that engage with other people in the comment section, as well as the people that follow me on all of my other socials. I'm at Reese Waters on just about everything. There are so many people whose efforts I appreciate that I may not have an opportunity to thank. And just because I haven't already doesn't mean I won't. That goes for you too, Hanukkah Claus. I remember. Greetings to Reese Waters and the Mod Squad and Collected Fam. It's me, Top Cop, aka Hanukkah Claus, the chubby elf of Hanukkah with his reindeer Nala. She's of the culture, sending out holiday greetings and drinking from the glory of my FAFO mug and adorned in my Who Raised Y'all festive tea. It's an honor to tell all who ask regarding these gifts about the good works this channel does, and I know will continue to do. Love to all of you. And right back at you. I want you guys to know how much I appreciate the support, love, and just the time that you guys shower onto this particular channel. And I chose Unsung because coming out of the White House Black History Month with the State of the Union immediately afterwards with no acknowledgement whatsoever, the treatment of Jesse Jackson, and the most notable thing coming from this administration during Black History Month being the Obama memes. I think a lot of us know what it feels like to be unsung. And for us, you got to ask how many years we're going to move this country and remain a ghost. It's like a special kind of magic trick that we do to be the most visible people in the room, the ones that get watched in the corner store, the ones they lock their car doors for, and yet be completely unseen. We're the architects of the culture the world breathes like oxygen, but nobody ever asks who built the house. We're the rhythm in the song everybody's humming, the slang on the tongue of a girl across the ocean who's never met a soul from my neighborhood. Actually, you know what? My neighborhood was pretty milquetoast. I'll be honest. My neighborhood was unseasoned. I'll be honest. Let's go with y'all neighborhood. A woman across the ocean who's never met a soul from your neighborhood. We are the trend, the aesthetic, the vibe. But when the credits roll, our names are written in water. It's like being a foundation. You're under the floorboards, holding up the whole structure, but people walk all over you, dance on you. They feel safe because of you, but they never look down to say thank you. They just admire the view from the window that we helped frame. We've sat in boardrooms where our idea was a suggestion until a man with a different tan said it louder, and then suddenly it was innovation. In fact, I think this administration has been built on dismantling everything Obama did and then putting together something similar, but way worse. I've seen our history tucked into the back of the book, a footnote in a chapter written by someone who wasn't even there. It's exhausting being a masterpiece that everyone wants to own, but nobody wants to credit. But here's the thing about being unrecognized. Just because you don't see the win doesn't mean it isn't moving the trees. We've been the pulse of this world since the first heartbeat. You can look away. You can keep your eyes fixed on the ceiling. You can pretend the light just happened to turn on by itself. But we all know who flipped the switch. We've always known. We see you.